All right. Good morning. Good morning. We're getting started just a few minutes early at the Wednesday call today, August 26th. We do have a guest, if you haven't figured that out. Been shouting it all over social and blowing up your inbox. So we have Bobby Kerr here. But before we get started, I wanted to see, does anyone have any wins? Anything good they want to share? Personal, not personal, business? What's going on?
I just downloaded Bobby's free thing.
All right. Nice job, Dawn.
I love that. I love it. I love it. That's actually really cool.
Yeah, that's good. That'll be very helpful as a follow-up to everything that we talk about today. Because today is going to be very, very high level, a very, very short amount of time with a lot of information. So, a great resource for sure.
Awesome. Awesome. Anyone have anything fun that they're going to share? Anything happening? Any business? Any new clients? Any referrals? What's happening?
So I am working on putting together a 5-week course specifically aimed for the aging demographic. And I'm looking at hosting at the MLS at a local city here. And I already have 3 of the 5 speakers that I need.
Hmm.
And working on the marketing side. And so that is pretty much well to begin to equip, the what I say right sizing instead of downsizing.
Yeah.
And so it's just beginning. It's my first step and my first time putting an event together for real estate outside of weddings.
Awesome. Well, that's fabulous. I'm so excited you took that next step. That actually is a perfect segue because, how many of you know what's going on tomorrow? What's going on tomorrow? Anyone want to tell me?
Your amazing
We,
class tomorrow.
yeah, we're going to be talking about first time home seller seminars, how to host it. Now, in the beginning of the class, it's going to talk more about your event prep, right? Your seller workshop, your blueprint. How we're going to prep this event. Then we're going to get into the meats and potatoes of what the event is. We're also going to talk about the post event process, what happens before you leave, what follow up, and then what marketing you need from start to finish. And it's going to give you some templates, presentations, use it, change it around to what you want to, use parts of it, who you should partner with, how they should support your event monetarily, because you should be promoting this both in print, in some sort of a print takeaway for the day, and then also online registration. So, what are you doing for it? So, that is tomorrow. It's tomorrow. We have a fair amount of folks who are already signed up for it. It's going to be tomorrow, August 27th at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. It will be recorded, but the only way to get the recording is to register. So I'm going to put the link in the chat here.
I was going to say thank you. And then I don't know how to get the sheets that somebody else had mentioned for this morning. I see there's a QR code, but it doesn't help me being on my phone to scan a QR code.
What I'm going to do is post it always after the Wednesday call. I always send, hey, did you miss the Wednesday call? Here's the replay.
Yes.
I'm going to make sure that we have a copy of that, so that I've
Then I
already,
can pull it up. Okay.
and then you
Thank
can
you.
there that way. And in the chat, I put down, if you're not part of our Facebook group, join it. We're sharing more and more there. If you're not part of the senior referral map, make sure you're on it. I've launched the Halfback Life map, which is our halfback states. We have 1 million people moving from Florida to halfback states, which is Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, and Tennessee. So get on that because we're pushing that. And then the first time home, well, the home seller seminar tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern time, you have to register for that. Final emails will be going out to RSVP today. If you don't see them, check your spam. And we are excited today to have Bobby Kerr. He is with Local 8, No,
Locate.
Locate.
locate my business. I was like, wait a minute, I can't speak today. And I met him a couple of weeks ago at an event that I attended, and he kind of blew my mind with some of the things that I thought I was like, I'm a rock star at. And I was like, oh, I'm not. I need to get better because I didn't realize how to do some of this stuff. So he's here to share his expertise. He's going to make this more of a hands on workshop, right? For them?
Um, well,
Or,
we're going to be going through, I mean, with only 30 minutes, we're going to be talking high level of the components of Google Business Profile and really how what they can do and put into action on their own, or they can have a separate conversation with us. So with such a limited time, it's not so much you do that, I do this, we do, you do. This is going to be kind of, this is what it takes right now to be winning in this space, and some very, very specific examples. I've customized a lot of these slides for this group specifically and for all of your target demographics. So I think it's going to be super helpful that way.
yeah, awesome. So he's going to be helping us with that. I'm going to turn it over to you and I'm going to put myself on mute. You're
Okay. Good morning, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. As Felicia said, my name is Bobby Kerr with Locate My Business. We are the world's authority when it comes to Google Business Profile for real estate professionals specifically. So everything we're going to be talking about today is about Google Business Profile. So right away, and actually, there's only a few of us on here, so I am curious. Show of hands, does anybody not even know what a Google Business Profile is? Or is everyone somewhat familiar? Yes, familiar?
Somewhat familiar.
Good deal. Thank you, Deborah. So the Google Business Profile, I imagine everyone is familiar because anytime you've searched for a business or a type of business or a service online, that's what Google shows you in the search results, is they're showing you an actual Google Business Profile. That's the part of Google that shows reviews, photographs, the phone number, the website link to a business, etc. Well, as real estate professionals, that's incredibly important because that's the first step in a consumer's journey, is someone either going to Google for a traditional Google search, or Google Gemini for an AI search, or ChatGPT, and all of it ties into the Google Business Profile. So we're going to dig right in. This presentation is going to be condensed quite a bit with the limited time. So this one is called the Search Revolution, and why real estate agents, especially in your demographic, must adapt now to stay very, very visible and win more clients. And so we're going to jump right ahead, and Felicia will send out the presentation with the slides, so we'll be able to get that QR code to anybody that's missing it right now. And Felicia, can you guys still see the slide deck okay? Yes, okay. So real quick, just a fun slide. We were talking about this a little bit ago, actually. So my alter ego is I play in a Bon Jovi tribute band called Bob Jovi, right? I'm Bob. And so this is me as John Bon Jovi. I get to tour all over the world, and this is a fun part of my alter ego, so to speak. So I always like to start with that because people tend to get a giggle. I saw Dawn Michelle there smirking at me. She's like, "Oh, I like Bon Jovi. I like this guy. I love it." Okay, so right away, so just a little bit of background so you can kind of understand what our authority is. So what makes me and our company an authority in this space? Number one, I'm a real estate operator, not just an owner of a marketing agency. So I have personally built real estate-based businesses over the last decade and a half, and not just marketing. So mortgage brokerage, home inspection firm, property and casualty insurance brokerage, large real estate team. So these are all the companies that I either founded, or was hired as a COO or a vice president of. And I scaled all those companies on the back of Google Business Profile. That was a massive component of us scaling these businesses. So you can kind of see down below several of those businesses that I've been a part of. 2,000 plus reviews just on those 5 companies alone, plus of course helping thousands of agents across the country and Canada on optimizing their Google Business Profiles to be more visible online, because that's what we all want. We all want to be more visible online so that we're not having to pay for leads all the time. We want to be organically found so that people can find our services and find us. So just a little bit of background there. We're going to start with a metaphor to kind of paint the picture to help everyone understand why this stuff is important for Google visibility as well as AI visibility. Because I would imagine everyone on this call, and Nicole, maybe you can shake your head yes or no, that most of us are using AI in some degree for our business, whether it's to create social media posts or create or edit videos or making sure that we're being found on ChatGPT or Google Gemini or creating listing descriptions. We're all utilizing AI in some capacity. And if we are, our clientele certainly are as well. And so we want to be where they are so that we can be found. So to get started, we're going to get started with a dark house realtor metaphor. Okay. So I want everyone right now to imagine listing a beautiful home. Okay. It might be the most beautiful home you've ever had or ever seen in your entire life. But here's the kicker: every showing must happen at night and the lights must remain turned off in the house. Okay, so you're picturing this beautiful home, but it's really, really dark, and all the showings have to happen at night so that the house exists. Customers are driving by, the most gorgeous house you've ever seen. But no one's going to stop in, right? No one's going to knock on the door. No one's going to look at the listing. No one's going to talk to you because it's not visible. It basically does not exist, even though it's the most beautiful home you have ever seen. Well, that is your online presence as a real estate professional. If you have fewer than 150 reviews across the internet, okay, your business is a dark house, just like this metaphor. If you're missing geographic anchors in all of your content that you put online, meaning if your reviews don't mention the city and the state and the neighborhood where you help someone, okay, that's a missing component. If you don't have photos of you in your community on your social profiles, that's the missing geographic anchors. We're going to talk about some of that stuff in a second. If your Google business profile is not optimized, okay, if it's not super built out to make sure that it's visible to Google, then your business is essentially the dark house, just like in the metaphor. And of course, if you're not leveraging other social media platforms like Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, etc., then your business is the dark house, just like this metaphor, because AI tools and Google cannot see the lights turned on your business, just like this metaphor. So hopefully that paints the picture with where we're going today and why this stuff is so important. I like starting out with this quote: your business is whatever Google says it is, right? If Google is not recommending your business, then your business basically doesn't exist and you're not being found online. So that kind of paints the picture. And then, of course, secondly, your business is whatever AI tools say it is. So if ChatGPT and Perplexity and Gemini and Microsoft Copilot, if these tools are not recommending your business and they're recommending your competitors, then essentially you do not exist to them because they do not trust you enough to recommend you. Okay, so it all goes back to the Google business profile, and that's where we're going to go today. The problem: 93% of real estate professionals, I think we all, whether it's ourselves or whether it's people that we know, 93% of our peers are not optimized with Google or social media in general. So that gives a great opportunity that we have to showcase ourselves online because 93% of our competitors are not here in this meeting today. Your competitors are not paying attention to this kind of stuff. And so it really creates a great opportunity for those of us on this call today to say, okay, I can implement a couple of things to make myself more visible. So, Bobby, is AI search really overtaking traditional search and traditional marketing? Because we all know AI is not slowing down. So I do want to paint a picture with a quick statistic. So what we know now, in January of 2024, so barely 2.5 years ago, all internet search traffic was going to AI tools less than 1%. Okay, so less than 1% of the population was utilizing ChatGPT or Gemini 2.5 years ago. That's not very many people. Fast forward to June of that year, it had risen to 2.5%. So it had rose to a percentage and a half in less than 6 months. Fast forward to June of this year, just 2 months ago, all internet search traffic was 15% going to AI tools. So people are looking for our services utilizing AI tools. So if you are not being found there, then you're missing the boat completely. That's 1,054% increase. So I just show this to make sure to say, this is where our customers are. This is where your clientele is. Like I think it was Deborah that mentioned the right sizing, right? The people that are looking to help their family members right size, like they're going to AI tools to find the best people to service them and service their families. And so we've got to be found where they are searching. So this paints the picture perfectly of why we need to be found on Google and be found on AI tools. So because this is where people are going. This paints the picture perfectly here. Okay. The old way of having online marketing was we wanted to make sure that we were found for human beings. A human being was just going to find us on Google and they were going to contact us to help them with their service, okay, with their real estate transaction. Today, we need to be creating content for AI tools as our target audience because the AI tools are the ones that are recommending us to human beings. So this is no more about, posting something and hoping on Facebook and hoping that a human being sees it and hires us. This is about posting things on Google, on Facebook, wherever online, on YouTube, so that AI tools say, yes, Dawn Michelle Ford is an expert in right sizing, or she's an expert in estate sales. So when someone in her geographical area is searching for her types of services, the AI tools trust her enough to recommend her. Okay, so this is where everything's going. We've got to make sure that we are being visible for AI tools so that they're the ones that are recommending us to human beings. So from where do AI tools pull real estate agent data? Okay, this is a great graphic. This shows, okay, local authority. By the way, I'm going to back up a little bit. So Google Business Profile is powered by Google Maps, if you didn't know that. So Google Maps, obviously the largest like geographical business data set on planet Earth, right? If we are not being found on Google Maps, then Google's not recommending us. And so the Google Business Profile is powered by Maps. So we've got to be leveraging that tool so that again, we populate in local geographical services because that's how Google connects people to your business. It's all about geographical location. So that's why if someone's searching for, hey, Deborah, did you say you were in California? I think, is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, the Central Coast, yes.
So if she's in the Central Coast, so if someone in, let's just say in Dawn Michelle's market in Seattle is looking for Deborah's services, Google doesn't want to show Deborah's business to someone searching in Dawn Michelle's market. Okay. And the way that they do that is they're looking at their profiles to say how close in proximity is this searcher to the type of service that they're looking for and to Deborah's business. And if it doesn't align, then they're not going to connect them. That's why the geographical component is so important. So this is a really good idea. So right away, take a picture of this, take a screenshot, because this is where we've got to be. And for local authority, it's all about local content, Google Business Profile, Apple Maps, Yelp, Bing Places. I'm in the top left quadrant of this graphic. That's like where we've got to be no matter what. If you're not there on these places, then Google and AI tools are never going to trust you. And you kind of go over to the social media side, the right side, social and content authority, Reddit, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Like we all know, we've heard these for 10 years. This is where we've got to be as well. We've got to create content. And then we see the real estate authority. All right, we see Zillow, Realtor.com, Homes.com, Redfin, HomeLight, Fast Expert. I circled those last two because those two, HomeLight and Fast Expert, you can have free accounts with them. You don't have to advertise with them. But if you have a profile, it's called a citation. If you have profiles with them, then that is basically ChatGPT looks at those two companies in particular. And so you definitely want to have profiles on HomeLight and Fast Expert for your specific service. And you can have, again, free. You don't have to pay for their program. But when ChatGPT is referencing real estate agents, a lot of times they're pulling directly from those two websites. So that's like a little freebie there for you guys to make sure to have free profiles on there. Okay, so this is just a great graphic to show. It kind of takes a village, right? We've got to be on all these different platforms. but I don't want you to think that you have to be an expert in all of them. Today, we're talking about the most important one, which is Google Business Profile. But this really lays out the plan of where we should be creating content on a consistent basis. So I'm going to jump ahead really quick. So what does AI enriched content look like on your Google Business Profile specifically? And everyone always asks and wants to understand the most, common thing about the Google Business Profile, and that's reviews. Like, how important are reviews on Google, and what makes a review great on Google? Because not all 5-star reviews are created equal. Okay, so we've got a good example here. So reviews that AI values. So number one, you can see in that black bar at the top, it says fresh reviews are greater than old reviews. All right. And then you can see with the target, keywords inside of reviews are AI gold. And we'll give some examples here. But when I say fresh reviews are better than old reviews, we're gonna talk a little bit more about that in a second. But basically, I'll give a preview. If Tim Rogers has 100 Google reviews and they all came from 2025 and before, and Nicole has 25-star reviews and they're all from 2026. Google actually values Nicole's profile and her business more so than Tim, even though Tim has 100 reviews. He's got 5 times the amount of reviews as Nicole. But because hers are recent, Google says, hey, Nicole's business is actually thriving. Nicole's business is doing better than Tim's because she has recent customers. So there's a massive recency bias with Google and AI tools. And so they basically look at us and they say, what have you done for me lately? What have you done for the world lately, Deborah Lowe? Have you worked with customers recently, or are you just banking on the fact that you used to work with a lot of people? So they want to see that we're kicking butt right now, today, presently. So as an example, here is what a great review looks like, and we'll break it down. I'm going to read it out loud. Felicia Saraceno and the Everyday Home team are incredible. Felicia helped us downsize from our longtime family home in Naples and made our move to a beautiful 55 plus community at Valencia Trails in Naples, Florida, smooth and stress-free. Her expertise in 55 plus communities, senior living options, and relocation to Naples was unmatched. She guided us every step of the way for preparing and marketing our home to finding the perfect low maintenance home in a community that fits our lifestyle. Felicia's knowledge, patience, and compassion made a huge difference during this life transition. We couldn't be happier in Valencia Trails. Now, wouldn't we all love a bunch of reviews like that? I think we would, right? And there's a reason why this one is so powerful. And you can see what I bolded there with some navy coloring. Okay. Number one, her name, Felicia Saraceno and the Everyday Home team. So her name and her team name right away in the review. Google loves to see that. Okay. Because then we know that the person is actually reviewing a real business. They then say things like, Felicia helped us downsize from our family home, beautiful fit to a 55 plus community at Valencia Trails in Naples, Florida. Very, very specific, right? We talked about what powers Google Business Profile, Google Maps, and they like to see geographic anchors in our reviews. So this person has mentioned Naples, Florida 3 times in this review. They mentioned specifically Valencia Trails in Naples, Florida. So a very, very specific 55 plus community where they moved to. They mentioned keywords like helping out with relocation, low maintenance home, community that fits our lifestyle, 55 plus, smooth, stress-free. So right away, Google sees this and they say, you know what? Felicia Saraceno is pretty damn good. Like, she's really good at taking care of people. And she works with a very, very specific audience that aligns with all of the other things on her Google profile. So when Google sees reviews like this, they really, really value your business. They think that you are obviously helping people. You're a community expert. You specialize in what you actually say you specialize in on your Google business profile. And then they're more likely to trust you. So Google calls things like this, they literally call them trust signals. Okay. So that basically means if you have a bunch of reviews like this, they're more likely to trust your business. So again, fresh reviews are better than old reviews. We want to be aiming for 3 to 5 reviews a month. And I know that sounds maybe tough for some of us that don't do a bunch of transactions every single month. I'm going to give you some tips here on how you can overcome that hurdle. But this is the sweet spot. 3 to 5 reviews, keyword rich reviews each and every month. And here's another one to take a screenshot of or a photo of, because this is what I want everyone to start incorporating into their review requests whenever you're reaching out to past clients, current clients, referral partners, etc. Okay, this is what we just talked about in this review, right? All of these things that were incorporated into this review of Felicia, all right, this is the holy grail of a powerful review. Okay, it takes 5 things. Number one, they need to leave you 5 stars. Number two, they need to mention you by name, just like that one from Felicia did. Number three, they need to mention the geographical area where the transaction took place. So city, state at a minimum. And if they can even mention the neighborhood or the street name, it's even better because again, this is all powered by Google Maps. So we want as many geographical anchors as possible. We want some hot keywords in there that signifies your excellence, right? We talked about what that person said in this review. They said Felicia made it easy, stress-free, smooth. She marketed our home perfectly. So that's kind of signifying her excellence, right? That's number 4. And number 5, on Google, your reviewers they can add a photograph to the review. So we want to make sure if you can get your people to start doing this and you have review templates where you send a text or an email campaign to people after closing or maybe after clear to close, this is what you want to start kind of coaching them what to incorporate into their review, right? You're not telling them what to say, but you are giving them guardrails to say, hey, hey, Tim, it's Bobby. I loved working with you at 123 Main Street. Um, we're on a mission to get to 50 Google reviews in the next 90 days. Can you help us out? It really helps us if you mention these things. Mention us by name, mention the city and the state and the neighborhood where we did the transaction. Please mention something that I helped solve or a problem I helped solve during the transaction. And please add a photo if you can. So that's kind of what you want to start incorporating into your review requests, because people are not just going to inherently most of the time leave a review like this. I think we would all agree. Like people might, if they leave, but people are inclined to leave negative reviews. I mean, that's the marketing psychology, right? If you go to a restaurant and you see a hair in your food, you're very, very quick to leave a negative review. But if you have the best server you ever had, most of the time people don't go out of their way to leave a positive review. So we've really kind of got to drive that bus, so to speak. I'm going to give a couple more things. Felicia, do we have like a hard stop at 10:30? I know because with the intro, we got started a little bit.
Nope, we're good. We're good.
Okay, cool. So for those of us that are thinking, okay, Bobby, I don't do 3 to 5 transactions a month, and maybe I don't have a massive past database to go back to ask for reviews. Here's a great opportunity. Okay. Here's a list of people that you've probably worked with in your career across all of your different transactions that are great opportunities to leave you a 5-star review. We call them character reviews. So, Felicia could go to the photographers that she's worked with at her listings in the past and say, hey, Bobby, I know you photographed my property at 123 Main Street. My team's on a mission to get to X amount of reviews. I know you know how I do business. I'm ethical. I'm professional. I'm communicative. Would you mind leaving me a character review to tell the rest of the world how I do business? So Bobby the photographer has never bought or sold a home with Felicia, but Bobby the photographer knows how Felicia does business, right? So we all know lots of people like this in the business. So this is a great opportunity. We've all worked with home inspectors, mortgage professionals, everybody that's on this list. These are great opportunities to leave a review for them and then also to request a review from them. Hopefully this is helpful and opening up everyone's mind to say, okay, there's lots of opportunity out there to get some more reviews for our business. So what other types of content does Google Business want on your profile? Okay, there's lots of different opportunities. There's reviews, there's services, there's photos, there's posts. These are all the tools on your Google Business profile. All right, so I'm going to give a couple quick previews, and I want everyone to understand and take away a big idea here. So this is a slide from a guy named Danny Sullivan, who is the director of Google Search for Alphabet, the company that owns Google. So this is straight from the horse's mouth. He was doing like a TED Talk type presentation a couple of months ago. And he basically said, hey, everybody, every business owner in the world, if you are putting content out in the world that is commoditized, meaning it can be found anywhere else, if it's similar to every other real estate agent, they're going to suppress your content. Okay, that goes for your website, that goes for your Google business profile, that goes for anywhere you have content online. If it can be found or duplicated easily by another real estate agent, they're going to suppress it. Okay. So I'm going to give some very, very specific examples of what I mean by commoditized versus non-commoditized content. All right. So here is an example side by side. And this is specifically made for this group in this call today. Okay. So side by side, a bad example and a good example of on the Google business profile, this is the services section. So you get to tell Google, hey, I do these services. So on the left, this is what most real estate agents do. And remember the 93%, this is more like 99% of all real estate agents. They have a service listed on their Google business profile. And you can see it says the service name is downsizing services. And then in the service description, it says something basic like, I help people downsize. Okay. So a real estate agent puts that in their business profile and they think,
But
okay,
that goes for cyber criminals too.
oh, so people think that I help people downsize. Google then understands your business. That's not the case. There's nothing specific here, right? There's nothing hyper local because this is all about geographical anchors. So there's nothing local. There's nothing specific to you. It's just commoditized. So look on the right side. This is non-commoditized content. This is very, very specific and custom. So for Felicia, the service name is 55 plus downsizing and right sizing services in Naples, Florida. Very, very specific, very, very hyper local. And then to take it a step further, look at the service description that she has. Felicia Saraceno and the Everyday Home team help adults 55 plus downsize and right size their homes in Naples, Florida with ease and confidence. We handle every detail from preparing and marketing your current home to finding the perfect fit in 55 plus communities like Valencia Trails, Twin Eagles, and Fiddler's Creek. Compassionate guidance, expert strategy, and a stress-free experience from start to finish. Now imagine, which one do you think Google prefers when they're trying to align Felicia with a searcher who's looking for Felicia's services, right? Obviously, the one on the right is very, very customized and much more valuable in terms of what Google finds helpful. So this is commoditized versus not commoditized. I'll give you another example of a post. Okay, so this could be on your Google profile, or this could be on your Facebook post, or on your website. Okay, so on the left, we all see things like this, where people post a graphic, and it says today's word of the day, right? It's downsizing. Oh, riveting stuff here. We're giving the definition of a word. Downsizing, like no one knows what the definition is, right? And I'm picking on Felicia here. She did not post this. And I made this up because I have another agent that we work with that she did have a bunch of posts like this. I just threw, Felicia's picture up here for today. But this is an example of a commoditized post because I can find this post anywhere else. This is not hyper local. This is not specific to anybody. Sure, her picture and her name is on there, but Google doesn't care about that. They want to know how valuable is this piece of content. So the post that accompanies this photo, we're on the left here, it says, thinking about downsizing, I help Naples homeowners make their next move simple and stress-free. Let's find the right home for the next chapter. Call or message me today. Okay, that sounds like every other real estate post from every agent we've ever seen. Now go to the right side. Okay, this is a good version of a post. The picture of Felicia actually near Valencia Trails, okay, the 55 plus community in Naples, and then the post copy that goes with it. Making a move to simplify life can open the door to your best chapter yet. I just helped a wonderful couple downsize from their longtime Naples home and move into the beautiful 55 plus community of Valencia Trails. With resort style amenities, low maintenance living, and a welcoming neighborhood, it was the perfect fit for the next chapter. Whether you're ready to downsize, you guys get the point, right? This is very, very specific. It's got geographical anchors. It tells a story, right? This is actually a real life example of what sets Felicia apart from everybody else that posts things like on the left. So when you are starting to post things, I want everyone to just ask yourself, okay, think of this moment. Is this commoditized or is this unique to me? If it's not unique to you, then you need to rework it because Google does not care and they will actually suppress you online if you're not putting out hyper-local, unique content. And again, the Google business profile is the most important place to do this because, again, Google owns it and they are feeding AI overviews and feeding Google Gemini with data from Google business profiles. So that's why the Google business profile is the most important thing to pay attention to today because it sets the tone for the rest of wherever you're found online. So a good example here of hyperlocal versus commoditized content in your specific field, talking about estate sales or senior living or right sizing. And then photos. When you guys are posting photos on your Google profile, on Facebook or whatever, we actually need to be posting photos of you in and around your geographical area and the communities where you want to serve. So obviously these are AI. I created them for Felicia, right? But neighborhood photos. So when you go around, okay, if you're specializing in right sizing or senior living and you're an SRES, agent, then we've got to be posting photos of you around those areas. That's helpful. So like when you post a photograph of you with a client in front of a home, Google sees that and they see a trust signal and they say, okay, look, on their Google business profile, Felicia says she's a real estate agent and that she specializes in senior living. And there's a bunch of pictures with her as a real estate agent with just sold sign or with her clients in front of a house, and maybe they're seniors, then there's a trust alignment that Google says, all right, she's doing the business that she says she does on her Google profile. Therefore, we're more likely to trust her. When she posts a picture in front of Valencia Trails, the actual community sign, that is a trust signal that Google says, all right, I know, because again, what powers Google business profile? Google Maps. And have you guys ever seen the Google Earth cars driving around everywhere for the last 15 years? They've taken photo and video of every square inch on planet Earth for the last 15 years. So when Dawn Michelle is in Seattle and she takes a photograph of herself in front of a community that she wants to serve, or it falls in line with her category or her specialties, when she does that, Google recognizes where the photo is being taken. Oh, sorry, guys. I'm in a hotel room with my dogs. there's if you can hear my dogs barking. So that is an alignment with Google, and they see, okay, hey, there's pictures of her in front of a 55 plus, lifestyle community. Here's pictures of her in front of this community. Here's pictures of her in anywhere in Seattle. And that's in alignment with what her Google profile says she does and where she says she does it. So adding photographs in and around your geographical area is highly important. And so I know some of us don't like taking photographs of ourselves. So if that's the Dawn Michelle raises her hand, if that's the case, honestly, at a minimum, what I would be doing, and I don't have one here in front of me, but let's just say this AirPod case is a business card. Dawn Michelle, take your business card with your photograph and go in front of those local landmarks and take pictures of your business card in front of those local landmarks. Okay, so school signs, street signs, sports stadiums, these community signs where you want to do business in and around your community, as long as they're in your geographical area, that's a nice little shortcut. So obviously it's best if you can take the photograph of yourself as a real person. That's helpful. Don't do the AI stuff. Okay, this is just for an example today, what I've posted here, but they want to see real photographs. It's almost counterintuitive. The AI tools want to ensure that our businesses are not AI businesses, right? They want to ensure that our businesses are human-based businesses. All right, bye, Angie. So posting photographs is going to be really, really important, but hopefully this paints the picture for the types of photographs that we want to be taking, because just a photograph in your office, that's helpful a little bit, but posting pictures of you out in the community is going to be extra helpful. I know we're sensitive on time here, so I'm just going to kind of jump ahead. I'm going to give one tip about websites. Okay, just a high level, and we can always do another class, Felicia, that gets a little more in depth about specific things. But on websites, okay, here's the problem. Most of our real estate websites, they're all kind of digital mirrors of one another. They don't have hyper local content. Again, there's the theme, guys. Hyper local content wherever we're being found online. Your Google profile, your Facebook posts, your YouTube videos, your website. We want to show that we are local community experts. So when your website just has generic info and just has MLS listings, that doesn't make you different from everybody else. Every other real estate agent has MLS listings on their website. I think everyone would agree, right? So we want to make sure that our website has hyper local content. So as an example, your website, if you these are example, communities here. Your website, if it has a communities page, as you can see here at this example, okay, most real estate agents, 99% of real estate agents, if you click communities on a real estate agent website, all it does is link to MLS listings on those different cities. Okay, but you want individual city pages on your website that signifies your excellence. So you would want individual pages on your website that talks about the specific communities or the specific cities where you want to do business. So as an example, right, like here, downtown Riverdale would be its own page on your website, and then it would list actual information about that city and how you do business and why you do business in that city. And then a separate page for the Maplewood neighborhood, and a separate page on your website for Oak Hill Estates. And so this is all what it takes with hyper local content on your website, on your Google profile, on your YouTube channel. Everything's got to be hyper local because, again, Google Maps is what's powering Google Business Profile and powering YouTube. So as many geographical anchors as we can have is what's going to be most important. Okay, so that's the big takeaway. Okay, so also I think it's important for everyone to understand this is not an overnight fix, right? Like if you just put out a couple videos and you change your Google Business Profile to be, all hyper local, and all of a sudden you're going to start getting local leads. It doesn't quite work like that. So we want to make sure that you start doing this stuff today and doing it consistently so that over time, Google starts to trust your business and they start to recommend you in search results. Because once Google starts to trust you, then AI tools start to trust you as well. Okay. So kind of to end it right here, to recap, look on the left-hand side. This is what an optimized real estate agent's online presence looks like, right? You've got a complete and optimized Google business profile. You've got a ton of reviews. You're posting weekly local content. You're adding photographs. You're adding, you've got all of your real estate specific citations or platforms that you're on, like Zillow and Realtor and HomeLight and Fast Expert and Microsoft Bing. You've got a great website. That is the real estate agent that's kicking butt and doing great. The real estate agent whose profile and whose business gets a little overlooked, that's the real estate agent on the right. You've got an incomplete Google business profile. You don't have very many reviews. You're not posting hyper local content. Your business information online is inconsistent. That we didn't even talk about that, but having consistent name, address, phone across every platform online is really important. So if Tim's website on his Google profile is timrogers.com, but Tim's website on Zillow, linked to his website that's linked on Zillow is timrogersfl.com for Florida, that's a disconnect. So we want to make sure that your name, your address, your phone, and your website is consistent wherever you're found online. So consistency is a big piece. So this is kind of just a great example of the real estate agents and the professionals that are getting recommended by AI tools and by Google versus who's not. And of course, here to wrap it up, shameless plug. This is, of course, what we do at Locate. This is all we do is we help real estate agents with their Google business profile. Whether you need a Google business profile created from scratch or you need one optimized to make it better, so AI tools and Google starts paying attention to it. That's what we do. We help real estate agents create monthly content that's all hyper local and custom, just like we talked about, and I showed you examples of. We just are working with Felicia right now and created a ton of valuable content for her. She looked at it and she told me this morning, she said, Bobby, this is a lot. And it really is, because
I was
that's what
like,
it takes.
I opened it up and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I could do this on my own.
Yeah, that's why we're here, right? We're here to kind of be your Google Sherpa, if you will, to walk you through the mountainside of online visibility, because you guys are great at doing, some really cool things, and that's building relationships and working with people as they're trying to right size and go to a different transition of life. You don't need to figure out how to be a digital marketing expert at the same time, right? So like let the experts let us do our thing. We've been in your shoes. I'm also a licensed agent. I've got an EXP team. So, we have been in your shoes, but we're also, all we do is focus on marketing for real estate agents like you, and specializing and customizing everything for your specific market, your niche audiences. And that's what makes all of this so very powerful. Just to end it here, guys, if you could do me a huge favor. If you scan the code on the left, that's actually a link to our Google business profile for Locate. And if you could leave us a review today, if you found this valuable, and there's a couple of things that you are taking away and you took some notes and you're like, yep, I need to implement that today, whether it's the review language or the types of hyperlocal posting or the photographs, mention that stuff in the review if you can, and take a picture of the screen, add that, and mention your geographical area. That would be really helpful for us. Thank you so much. And then lastly, the code on the right is if you found this valuable and you'd like to spend a little more time with me to dig into your personal situation and your personal online presence, that code on the right goes directly to my calendar. So if you'd like 30 minutes with me, no pressure, there's no commitment or anything, but if you'd like 30 minutes and you'd like to talk about your personal presence and see if maybe we can help you at Locate, just jump on my calendar. I'd love to meet you individually and answer any of your questions and see if we can help you. So Felicia, thank you
Yeah.
so much for the opportunity today. And I'm willing to stick around for a few minutes if
Yeah,
anybody
just
has
a
any
few.
questions.
Absolutely. So first off, how many of you, I see some of the comments in the chat. Frankie, I think it's best to touch base with him on his free 30-minute call. That's how I got hooked. And he's now helping me out, which is really helpful. But how many of you are having issues with your Google profile account? Just put a yes in the chat. I want to see how many of you are having issues. Mine is suspended because I changed something on my account and thought I was a bot. So
Yeah.
I have an issue. And it's tough, right? So I'm not an expert on how to do this. I can't watch 7 videos and be a rock star at how to fix my Google, right? I'm leaning into Bobby and his team to help me because there's only so many things that we have to do. We service our clients, we're selling, we're doing social media strategy, we're doing presentations, we're building our pipeline. Like, how many more things can you lay on top of the pile before it's just too much? You can't. You need some help. So we're bringing on folks like Bobby to help. So Bobby and I will talk about like a hands-on workshop to follow up with this. Probably next month or so. We'll see what everyone's schedule is, and how we're going to be able to offer that out to everybody. And in the meantime, what questions do you all have? We have like 2 minutes before we got to go.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Yes, Deborah.
I have, because I'm in such a small county, I have on Google Business where my P.O. box is, so I don't have anything personally attached to my home address. And the P.O. box is not recognized, so I have the address on Google My Business that is where my P.O. box is.
Okay. So Google doesn't allow PO boxes as an address on a public facing address for your Google
Right.
profile. So my guess is they're not showing an address where your profile's been kind of like in a soft suspension. And so what's the actual question, Deborah?
Well, so I have the post office address, not my P.O. box. So the P.O. box is held at 893. So that's the address I use is 893 Marsh Street instead
Okay.
of my personal address, because I don't want to lead anybody to my home.
Gotcha. Yeah, my guess is
So it's
maybe
not
your,
suspended.
but that address is actually public on your business profile.
Yes. And
That
it's
would
where my PO box is held.
Okay. Well, I mean, here's the thing. Anytime that Google has allowed you to have an address, that's a really good thing. I'm
Okay.
shocked. I've never heard of that working. So you're one of one if that's the case, because they don't allow you to have an address that's on your profile that's not actually yours. So if that got snuck through, then good for you. But I do think it's important since Felicia's talking about like who's having problems with their profile. Um, if you change, there's a couple things on your profile. If you ever touch your business name, your address, or your primary category, if you change those, Google's going to basically put a soft suspension on your profile. And you won't be able to get new reviews. You won't be able to make any edits because they think someone's essentially trying to steal your business. So at that point, you're going to have to do a video verification to prove that you are the owner of that business. So anytime you change those main trust anchors, it's going to be bad news. So for you, Deborah, I wouldn't change anything, honestly, because all that matters is because you're not like meeting somebody at the post office. All that matters is Google's recognizing that you're doing business in that area, and so they're more likely to recommend your business in a search result if someone's in that county. So you and I could have an
Okay.
individual conversation about
Sure.
making it
Yeah.
even more visible because it's only going to be one tiny step in the process is actually, having an address.
Okay.
And there,
Yeah, I'll reach out when I'm on a computer and can do the QR code.
Okay.
yeah, and Don Brackey, same thing. You're gonna have to set up a meeting with him just because we're running out of time. Um, because when we talk about not putting our homes addresses, what do we do? What's the next step? He's the expert on this. Lean on him, ask him, utilize this call with him. And then by time we go and do our workshop, maybe you'll have some answers and maybe you'll be on your way so that you'll be a little bit further along, which is awesome. And if you don't have an opportunity to do that, then we're going to figure out another follow up from this to do. All right. Well, thank you all so much for coming today. But before we go, if you have any questions for Bobby, I will be sending out the recap. I always do the instant replay. And this link will be on there for you. So that's number one. Number two, if you're part of coaching, 11 o'clock today, I sent out an invite with the Zoom. It's an open coaching forum. And so we are going to be doing that at 11 a.m. Eastern time. So that is a half-hour open coaching call for you. Number three, make sure you sign up for tomorrow's event at 10 a.m. Eastern time for the seller blueprint. And if you ever want to partner with me and any of my business partners here, just reach out to me and I'd be happy to have a discussion with you. I hope you all enjoyed today. Let's say thank you to Bobby. Thank you so much for being here. We truly appreciate this. This is huge, huge, huge. You blew my mind the first time I saw you. And now even today, I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to get started. I'm just going to have to start a whole new Google profile.
Awesome.
So,
Glad you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for having me.
and
Thank
we'll talk
you.
so soon. Thank you for joining.
All right. Talk soon, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.